Hey everyone, it's me, Ethan McKellar, and I'm with the co-creator of F14, Jacob Selman.
How you guys doing?
We are here today just to kind of have a discussion between us, and as well as we're going to have some other guests who are going to talk about their F14 experience. The past 4 months have been a monumental and historic time for our company because it was the creation. So I think that we just want to do these talks and these discussions every once in a while to look back on what we've done and the accomplished, but also what we're looking forward to and the things that we are looking to fix. These are kind of like big general not meetings, but opportunities for us to reach our members, but as well as the public, and let them know that we're doing things and things are happening, and we're not just a random company that has our face on it. So I just first want to, I think, Jacob, we can kind of talk about, I remember when we started it, and it was like 4 months ago or whatever it was, and we were in your dorm room, and like we just kind of like, oh, you want to do this too? And I was like, yeah. And we were like, let's do it,
I know. Well, because I think that, we both did podcasts in high school. We both kind of had that background where we really wanted to be involved in that kind of entertainment sense. And especially, I think, with that younger audience of Gen Z, because I think a lot of the time we're such a young generation, we don't get represented in a sort of way where I think we wanted to do like this specific kind of way. And I think that, we both do this podcast and we're like, wait a second, why just not do a ton of other creative projects? Why specify only these two podcasts that we both did, and why not branch it out? And so far I am like, it's really blown me away, the amount just between, finding someone like you that has the same kind of motivation to want to do this. It's been like fantastic. So
I think another thing, I think that we've very rarely not been on the same page about what we wanted to do. I think it started with this idea of wanting to do podcasts, but we realized that if there are two of us in the same room who have the same idea, there has to be other people. And with other people, we can't just do podcasts anymore. So we kind of expanded. And I think that brings me to the next thing is that we met some really, or we have met, we're talking to some really cool people that people just don't realize that. I mean, we're at Pace University. That's where we're based at. And of course, there's a lot of talented people. It's like in New York. So there's arts and entertainment, management majors. There are directors, there's actors, there's, photographers, artists, and everyone. So it was no surprise that they were this talented, but it's so cool that they're like that into it as much as us.
Yeah, because I think especially too, like in high school, I think you notice that a bit, but I think to the level that, being at college, what it's like with that is that you'll find people who, we're all like on the same page in the sense we're like, we want to produce content. We want to make, a ton of these projects and stuff. And it's great to be able to connect with so many people like that. Like not just like some small section of it. It's great how we're able to branch out to all these different people, whatever, who come from complete different backgrounds, by the way, too, mind you. And to make, this project that's not only meant for one specific group, but like universally it can be looked at. It's been great. So
yeah, I think I agree. I totally think that we created a company idea that, as you said, there's this almost like a little gap of content that's created for people of our age group. I mean, I think definitely like Euphoria and TV shows like that. Yeah.
I agree.
They're not really mainstream yet. They're not created by people of our generation. They're created by people older with people our generation in them, but that's it. Right. So they're creating what they are seeing of our generation. We're creating what we're experiencing. So I think that as we get older, we're going to stick with our generation. So, and we're also very oriented around New York City. Not just that we're based there, but we're also we're always looking at projects that relate to New York City students. Which brings me to the first thing. Jacob brought an idea. So if we have a pitch system within our company that we have anyone who wants to do something, they have to pitch it to a committee of people, and Jacob and I and the additional board. But we do that too. I don't just go, I want to make a project and it happens. If I want something happening, I also do the pitch with Jacob and our executive board. Jacob did one, and it was actually our first video project. Is it the mask? So I want to ask you, what was your mindset around what this project was about and why you wanted to make it?
Yeah, well, it was so early in our company. Obviously, we're still super young, but it was like that was like must have been the second week. I feel like where it kind of came up, and it was like just me in my room alone or whatever. And I was thinking, I love what's cool about I think F14 is that there are so many different interests within the partners and all that, and what everyone wants to do. And I was trying to figure out what can I do to like find some idea, whatever that branches out to everyone, kind of connects to everyone. And, I'm a huge basketball fan, for example, obviously. And I was like, what can I do to branch that to make it something that you'll understand or someone that like some random viewer that like, that's not maybe so into that as I am, that will understand the whole project. And I was like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. What also can I attribute with that? So I connected basketball with COVID or whatever. And I was like, how can we make this project kind of have a positive message that isn't like directly like super biased in some sort of way or like trying to like in your face, but also it's kind of just it was more of like I think like a public statement kind of, for example, or whatever. It was more of like because the whole idea of is the mask is that we're in the middle of this pandemic. What are ways that we can show the viewers or whatever how to keep going through it and stuff, and how to kind of relate to what they're seeing, whatever. So with is the mask, whatever, we had basically this player, whatever, who was playing horrible, whatever. He puts on a mask, like for COVID mask or whatever, and he ends up winning the game. And the whole idea of it is that like, was the mask the essence of the reason why they won or he won and stuff like that. And it's just, I was really happy the way it turned out, because the whole idea of it was really not to be like in your face of like, we are so like obviously pro mask, but like we're not so like in your face about it. It was really just supposed to be something that anyone could watch and be like, oh, that's a really cool message. It's really interesting how the way they they did it. And obviously you directing it, you did fantastic. I definitely would not have been able to do or able to lead that sort of way or whatever. So it was great to see everyone in there who has so many different ways of making stuff, between you directing it, me producing it, the actors being a part of it, all the different pieces, the way they came together and were able to make that being our first big project. Not only does it, I think, really show what F14 really stands for, but it just shows that if that's our first project, what else can come? Like what else that big can really, so yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah, but I think that that brings us to our next thing. After we did the mask, we sat down and we discussed like what is the next steps. Do we continue to do? We had podcasts at this point, and we're moving fast. I mean, this is only like the fourth week of the company, and we have two podcasts. We have is the mask, and so then we decided. I believe we were already talking about it, because I remember on the way back from is the mask, we did an interview. We've done interviews with already at that point a few people who were interested in doing the artist project. So we were on the train or on the subway back, and our one of our friends who was in is the mask was like, oh, like I can sing and stuff, and we're like, oh really, let's hear something. And I remember hearing him sing and going, oh my god, like why aren't you here?
Look at each other and we were like, wait a second, this could turn into something. Like this might actually
So I think like from there, that is when we decided that we would work for the next like 2 weeks on expanding that team of people. So we have music video directors, we have music supervisors, producers, which brings in our phenomenal music producer, and also he's also an executive board member, John.
Yep.
John is phenomenal work with. John Matai is he is like a phenomenal. He first of all he came on originally just to do finances and work
Yeah.
and create a plan for our finances, and then from there he has expanded his role in our company to really produce the music with Danny. Um,
Which is something too that I think that both of us, I think we knew, like we obviously, we've always had that thing when we would hang out with John and stuff, and he showed that, like he was like, well, like he was able to have, like he was, he's into that producing kind of stuff. But I think it was something that we both were just like, oh, that's really cool. That's
yeah.
just like an interesting hobby. But I think to the extent that he was actually like, that he like understands producing and music, we were like blown away.
Oh,
Because I,
right, exactly, right. That was actually totally. I actually totally forgot that he has a music background. He interned at a in high school at a music studio, and so he already had like the background of producing music. Um, so yeah, I think he was definitely he's a huge asset to what we're trying to do here.
definitely.
He also has perfect pitch, amazing piano player, and I truly believe that Danny's a phenomenal songwriter and music or a singer, but John is already bringing his already amazing talent to the next level.
Yeah.
And Danny would be the first one to tell you. So that's why I can say that because I really truly think that they're a great team. And it also I think formed F14 Music as a full out like department, right? So
Yeah.
Jacob and I, for those who don't know, like we are technically signed on as producers for that project, but we are really just there to make sure it happens. And we're label producers. We're not music producers, right? We're there to help make sure the label and the song and the record gets out. But other than that, it's the creative stuff is really they're doing a phenomenal job. Um,
Well, because that's the thing too, like you, for example, whatever, having that background in directing, plays into that theater sense, for you being the head of kind of this music project in the sense where you're managing all that or whatever, you're directing all that for, a point of view. How does that feel, whatever? From like
yeah,
directing, you have these plays, then to managing then a music
yeah.
project, that kind of, is it different in a sense? Like, is it
I
too
almost
different?
I almost feel like it's it's not as different as people think.
Okay.
Um, but it is. I mean, it totally. I mean, it's different, right? I have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I have been in many music. I also write music myself, but I'm certainly not as good as Danny. But I definitely like. I have this idea of what music. I've been in like many music rehearsals. I totally get that idea, but at the end of the day, it goes down to the simple like what a director is and what a producer is. Like, is someone there just to make sure that the creative people have what they need. That's one. And two, just to be there as like someone who can offer ideas and offer sometimes be the hard one and be like, hey, like we're off schedule, and sometimes it's just being that person. They hate them in the moment, but they thank them at later. And
Yeah.
I literally I've been in the position where I'm a director and working with producers, um, where I'm like, oh my God, like why is this person being on me so much? But then at the end of the day, I look back and I'm like, if they didn't stay on me, I would be like, I would totally be behind.
That's the
And
reality
so,
of it. Yeah.
right, exactly. So I'm trying to be that person for them. And they're of course working great with me and the whole team. And I'm so glad that we have what we have because it could be way worse.
Yeah.
And honestly, I miss being in person. Right now, for those who don't know, we're working all virtually, even our music people. So I miss being in person because every Friday we would meet and we would do these meetings where they have already met for days that week. And Jacob and I, or sometimes it would just be me, and we would sit and we would hear their music. And I would have people in the hallway like coming up to me like, "Oh my God, we heard the music that they're playing. Like it's phenomenal." And I'm like, "Just wait, just wait until the album or the EP comes out." I'm like,
Yeah.
"You're gonna. It is." I get like chills anytime I listen to music for two reasons. One, because it's phenomenal, of course, but number two, because I think it's so cool that like I have the ability to help make this happen. Like
Yes.
it just
Yeah.
gives me chills. And I know you probably feel the same way, at least with everything that we've done. And because you and I are in this, and John as well, are in this interesting position where we're overseeing a bunch of these little things, and we're just helping make all these creators like successful, but not they're making themselves successful, but we're just a part of what they're doing. So I love doing that. It's like Simon Cowell, but not as me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just definitely.
Um,
Hey guys. Well, that's to say the least that I'm excited, but yeah, I'm honestly like I had mentioned this in the Zoom before, but it's just a great way to be with my friends and just collaborate and do something that I've always done. So yeah, I think this is only the beginning for something that can evolve into something huge. So yeah, I'm just so thankful and so humbled that you guys chose me. Yeah, I guess it was not only because I was your friend, but you guys saw something in me musical wise. So yeah, I'm very excited. If you want like a little background, I grew up singing in the church. So I think that's the foundation for most of the singers today in age. Most of them grew up singing in church or whatever they participated in. And yeah, I like singing. I play piano, as you can see right there. So no, I would just say thank you for all of you that are here, and thank you to Jacob and Ethan for allowing me to kind of pioneer the music aspect of F14. And I'm so excited to collaborate with you guys, and I can't wait for the future.
Yeah.
So that brings me to our next project, which is, so I did music and I oversee music. And again, music is what my job is not to have any control over so much the music. My job is just, it's really just a business sense. I just oversee music in a business sense. Jacob is the same, but in another world. He is in the fashion and design world. He's working with the phenomenal Annie Johnson. So I'll hand it over to you just to talk about a little about what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah, so I think the fashion thing was something that I was really just always interested in it because I think that there's so much you can do with it. There's so many. Just like I think especially just with the amount of career people at Pace University, not only at Pace University, but really just the whole New York area, whatever. I think people would love to see that kind of design aspect. And we were fortunate enough to both of us were fortunate to find Annie Johnson or whatever who was so willing to want to create in that design sense, and I think that, I think the fashion projects it's not, at that same level as the music projects and where it's like the head of the thing that's going on, because I think it's so early in the process of
right.
But, I just think that, with what Annie Johnson can do and stuff, and just the way her enthusiasm with wanting to create this project and, pursue it and all that, it really just, it goes into the idea that I think every partner with F14 wants to do something. They're passionate. They're super passionate about it. And I think that with this design project, it's going to be hopefully, coming in spring 2021, it's going to come out there or whatever. So there's going to be more news about that, obviously. But
Right.
with that, it shows that I think that a lot of these projects, with how big they are, we definitely methodically break them down, and we really try to get to the root of what's the best we can do, whatever. And so we'll see how it goes. So far it's been great, and yeah, I'm really excited for it. So
I totally know what you're saying about how we break down our projects. Like for every single project we do, we understand it's a huge undertaking. Music, we've never put out music. John, of course, has helped and been a part of a studio before, and Danny has made and written music, but none of us has ever led this full time, and we're not getting paid for this, so it's weird, but it is possible. And everything we do we do as professional as possible. We sit down and we make out a plan. We have a plan for music, right? We have a plan for fashion. Every little thing is planned out, and I think, and I like to think, that all is going to pay off when we have a phenomenal thing. I also think it's and this was a lot of you and Annie talked about this, our mission and our goal to stay as diverse and as equitable as possible. And I know you guys talked about when we get to the point of having tangible outfits, we talked about having many different models of all different body shapes, and we talked about how important it is for us not to be what has happened before, but create something new. So I don't know if you want to say anything on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just that. I was glad that we both ride on that, because I think another thing about Gen Z is that's the big thing. It's just like that. You don't if you look at models or fashion projects 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, you'll see all extremely slim models, and it's the reality is not everyone's like that. And what's the point of having just that body type or just that group of people where no one's going to want to see that? And I think this whole new generation, no one cares to see that. They want to see more. They just want to see a lot more variety, a lot more variation, because that's the reality of what it really is. And so it really gives us the opportunity in the fashion project to have that diversity that we you know, we've seen so much before in the past projects we've had for 14, but especially with this one, I think too. So that's going to be something that's going to be awesome to see, I think, for everyone. So
Yeah, I agree. So just to close out, some things we're looking forward to. We have a few video projects in the spring that we're hoping and we're trying to do. We have Danny's music, which is going to come out in spring 2021, which is going to be a big deal. And, I'm super excited. I think that's going to change the game for our company. And then, of course, we have Annie's outfits and Annie's design project, which will also be a big event and a big project. So I would say, I just want to ask you, Jacob, what do you think is the biggest thing, not even just project-wise that you're most excited, but what is the biggest thing you're excited for the company as a whole?
Company as a whole, I think, I don't know. I think diversity wise, that's probably my biggest, just because of like how many people different people we've met through F14, me and you and myself. I know that coming from a small suburban town, I don't get that variety, at least, at all.
We're
So,
both
yeah, right. So it's just, I'm really excited to see that continue to grow because, something like F14, I think it's eye-opening for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to want to be a part of it, be the projects we make. And the more people that, want to take part in it, the more people that view or the concept or see the content that we produce, that means a lot more different people are also going to see it too. So I think that's the biggest thing that I'm really excited for. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. How about you though? What are you thinking?
Oh gosh, I'm just excited to create content, and I think I'm excited to get to a place where things are happening, and we're almost there. We literally, things are happening without us. Work is being done right as we talk. Like, people are considering about music, and I love that. And so I think the biggest thing I'm excited is to get to a point where you and I can really just like have the seal of approval, but let everyone do their job, right? And let everyone like really do what they do best. Because I love when I just get to sit back and it's not at all in like I'm doing a lot of, we're both doing a lot of work, but we get to a place where we're not micromanaging. We're getting to a place where we can really just sit back and watch beautiful work being done, and then help that work become the biggest it possibly can. So, and we're almost at that point when Danny's music and Annie's outfits come out. Like, we get to start doing the type of work I like, which is advertising and doing events where we get to go and talk and advocate for these people's work. So that's like what I'm excited about. And I think that it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, really. I mean, hey, you know what? If it's December now, this whole comedy started in September, and the amount of content produced so far, if that's just 3 months, then what's going to happen next year? It's going to be great. So
yeah, I totally agree. I think that we're already, for those of you who don't know, we have created the bylaws. We have formed a company now that is like as legit as any company, with the exception that we don't have a stream of revenue, which is what we are working on for the new year. So know that big things are coming, and I think that we just want to thank everyone inside of F14, for those who are watching, who have worked really hard so far. We want to thank you guys for watching. We want to remind you guys that our general meetings once a month are open to anyone. And if it's basically like this, but a little more interactive, and you can ask questions. We try to stay as transparent as possible. Right? Our company is your company, and we all work together to create amazing work. So that brings us to our end. I hope you guys all have a great holiday season. Stay safe. Wear those masks, and we will see you guys in 2021. Thank you guys.
yeah, thank you guys.